Some of the best indie wrestling in the world happens every week in the Wrestle Center in Memphis, Tennessee. It's Memphis Wrestling, and it's on YouTube, and I'm on YouTube too. I'm Brother D, and this is the Suplex stream, and I believe in indie wrestling. This week, Tim Bosby opens the show. The Boss is chasing another shot at the Memphis Wrestling Internet Championship. He calls out Aaron Roberts again for another match, but when he doesn't answer the call, the Boss goes above his head and calls out matchmaker King Cobra to make the match, and it's done. But at what cost? Bosby has to put his Memphis Wrestling contract on the line. Contract versus title. That's huge. Huge! And it's set for this show's main event. Before the main event, though, we've got other matches lined up. The first match is Kirk Swiss versus Denzel Rollins. Kirk Swiss has been running vignettes the past couple weeks stating that he's going to make Memphis great again. As the match begins, we're still not really sure what that means, unless it just means that Kirk Swiss is going to start throwing a Make Memphis Great Again t-shirt out at the start of his matches, which is exactly what he does here, but it doesn't do much to slow Rollins down. Rollins actually has control of the match from the start and lands some devastating kicks on Kirk Swiss. Swiss is able to slow Rollins down with some grappling and chokeholds, and as the match continues, the competitors seem to go back and forth, sharing offense and defense equally. The fallout of Lord Gaston mysteriously picking up a leg injury last week is revealed. We don't have a tag team championship match this week. Instead, we have a one-on-one match between tag team champion Sir Matthew and one half of the number one contending tag team, Too Cool 2. We're going to see Tim Grind in action. At the start of the match, Tim Grind delivers a hard chop that seems to impress commentator Dustin Starr. Whether or not that chop really did knock a nipple off, Grind pins Sir Matthew, and would have gotten a 3 count too, if not for an interfering and laid up with a do-it-yourself footcast and crutches wearing Lord Gaston. We go to commercial, and when we come back, we're back to Tim Grind and Sir Matthew dishing it out to each other in the ring. Too Cool 2 are the former Memphis Wrestling Southern Tag Team Champions, and it's obvious to see why when you watch Tim Grind in the ring. And it's obvious to see how Lord Gaston and Sir Matthew are the current Memphis Wrestling Tag Team Champions due to their shenanigans on display here. The next match is a women's match. The Little Blue Dragon, Tootie Lynn, is facing DDT Diana Taylor. Tootie Lynn has a great look, and even before the match starts, you can tell that she's very comfortable in the ring here in her Memphis Wrestling debut. Diana Taylor is a former women's champion, but Tootie Lynn seems to own the ring here. Tag team action is next with Steel Cross taking on Main Event Bradley and Big Nasty Phil. Main Event Bradley and Alex Cross start the match, but Cross tags Ethan Steele in pretty quickly for some double team offense, including a moonsault in the middle of the ring that looked really good. For the second time this week, Dustin Starr talks about nipples being knocked off when Big Nasty Phil delivers a hard chop to the chest of Ethan Steele. I'm not sure what it is about nipples this week. MKZ Mackenzie Morgan comes out for an interview and cuts an impassioned promo before telling the crowd that she'll always be our girl. And then it's main event time. Tim Bosby putting his Memphis Wrestling contract up against the bad boy Aaron Roberts for the Internet Championship. And of course, Justin Case is accompanying Roberts to the ring. Before the match even officially starts, Roberts attacks Bosby, charging him before the bell is rung. Look, I'm a fan of the Boss, but I have to give respect to Aaron Roberts for his strategy here, taking advantage of the challenger, making sure he gets some illegal licks in before the start of the match. When the match actually does start, Roberts goes for a powerbomb, but Bosby turns it around and applies a vicious-looking ankle lock. Look, Aaron Roberts is a big dude, but Tim Bosby is athletic. The difference in their styles here is fun to watch, and as for the match, Justin Case doesn't exactly get involved in the same way he had in previous weeks between these two, and I'm not going to tell you who wins. Why would I spoil it here? You really should be watching Memphis Wrestling on YouTube. There will be a link below in the description, just beneath where you should like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. More storylines were progressed this week. The Mike Anthony story is moving along nicely, and we've got a real creepy vignette featuring Reverend Ash Taylor and a kendo stick. I like this vignette a lot. It spoke to the horror fan in me. At first, though, I thought production could have sweetened the sound effects a little bit, because when the kendo sticks are hitting his followers' backs, it didn't really sound like it was hitting all that hard. But then they cut to a close-up of one of the followers' backs, and yeah, you can tell he took some solid hits from that kendo stick. I'm real curious to see where this goes. The women's matches? Division? Do we call it a division here in Memphis Wrestling? We had the 2 segments. The one featuring MKZ introduced a mystery woman who has a definite size advantage on the women's champ. And she took her out. MKZ got tossed around and squashed. I'm curious to see where this one goes. As far as the women's match I mentioned earlier though, the rookie Tootie Lynn looked really good. But again, DDT Diana Taylor seemed slow and out of place and out of pace. And again, the ref just seemed slower and lesser energy than the rest of the show. I don't know why this is when it comes to Memphis Wrestling. The women's competitors and the ref work and production just seems like it needs more something. Having someone like Makari come out and hand candy out to the crowd is cute and all, but just doesn't really add to the presentation overall. The whole thing just needs a little bit of work. Not consistently across the women's division. MKZ's segment is great. Maybe the candy gimmick plays better in person than it does on TV and YouTube. I don't know. But there's just something missing, some oomph that Memphis Wrestling could and probably should inject into their women's matches. When it comes to Memphis Wrestling though, despite my criticisms, I really do like this promotion. I'd proudly wear a Memphis Wrestling t-shirt all the way out here in the Pacific Northwest whenever I go to a live wrestling show. The stunt that the tag team champions pulled last week to get out of defending their title this week, as soon as I saw that last week, I told one of my best friends about it. And later that night, I told my wife about it over dinner. That was awesome. And I'm telling you, k-toomer, who was not on the show this week, is one of the best indie wrestlers working today, show enough. I should get my hands on a k-toomer t-shirt too, actually. Thank you for watching the Suplex stream. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel because I've got a lot more in the works here. Continued reviews and analysis of the Memphis Wrestling program, more coverage of other independent wrestling promotions, and since I'm going to Prestige Wrestling's upcoming Combat Clash, I'll be talking about that here too. You know why? Because I'm Brother D, and I believe in indie wrestling.